This is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to do the title page for the new Ireland series. And I'm so excited because I did I cut the title on my Cricut just last night and it's really pretty. So anyway, let's check out what's in my workspace and get started. It's gonna be fun. Okay, so here's my workspace for today for this super fun title page that we're going to make. I have a couple of pages that we're going to use that are from the 2021 National Scrapbook Day page kit, and I'm also going to use 2 sheets of gold shimmer. I'm going to use one in my base part of the frame, and then I'm going to use another one as part of, as you can see, the rainbow that I'm going to be making. And I cut this title right here from green glitter paper that is not Creative Memories but is acid and lignin free. And then I cut these two mats for the Ireland title and the volume 1 portion of that down here. That these are from cardstock that was part of the National Scrapbook Day kit as well. And then we're going to use this laser border that came in a special pack of embellishments that I'm sad to say are no longer available on Creative Memories website, but were recently available in the last chance, and that's where I found it. And honestly, I don't recall what it is, what the title of it is, and so if I can figure that out before I post this, I will make sure and put it in the description. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started with this, okay? I'm going to go ahead and remove the top portion of this, and we'll get to that in just a moment. First, we're going to make a frame, and I'm going to grab my trimmer. Oh, we're also going to use our circle maker. This is how we're going to make our rainbow. So it's going to be super easy and fun. I'm going to need 2 clips for my trimmer because we're going to make a really cool frame with this. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to take this super cute clover paper, and we're going to make a 1-inch. Actually, I'm going to make this a 1 1/4 inch frame that's going to go around. So that means I'm going to take my clips and I'm going to place them at the 1/4 inch mark. So this end of the clip is at 1/4 inch. You can see it right here marked on the arms that the blade sits on and glides back and forth. I'm going to come back down here, and I want my blade to stop at 11 1/4, so I'm going to put this clip, the top end of this clip, at 11 3/4 of an inch. That way my blade stops at 10 3/4. Okay, this is the fastest way that I know of to create a frame. I'm going to lay my paper so that it sits against the border at the top, the shoulder at the top. I'm going to move it over until it gets to the 1 1/4 mark on the grid on the right hand side beyond my cutting line. I'm going to start my cut right at the end of my clip right here, bring that down to the other clip, then I'm going to just rotate this around, lining it up each time at the 1 1/4 mark. This paper is so pretty, I don't want to waste any of it, so given that I don't have an endless supply, I'm going to save this part to use another day. So we're going to set that aside, and we're going to use this. Then I want to take my my gold paper. I want to create I'm just doing some mental math here for a second. I want a 10.5-inch square is what I want to start with. So I'm going to cut 1.5 inches off of this. So 1.5 inches, I'm going to turn it once, cut another 1.5 inches off. And then that will give me a square that covers that portion. Okay, but I don't need the whole square. So again, I'm going to use my clips and I'm going to cut this one at a 1 inch. Yeah, we'll just do a 1 inch. That'll be fine. Okay, and since this is a 10.5-inch square now, I need my cut to stop at 9.5 inches. So I'm going to set this at the 10.5-inch mark. So the top end of my clip is at 10.5 inches, and here it's at 0. All right, then I'm gonna put my paper in, again using the top shoulder, and we're just going to give it a 1 inch trim. And it doesn't matter if your blade, so since this is a rounded blade, it's very tough to make it stop at a specific point. So just know that it doesn't matter if your cuts crisscross one another, you're not going to see that, so not to worry. Okay, then we're going to save this for another time. It can go up there. That's going to go on there. Then I'm going to take this paper, which I just love because of all the different gradients of color that are in it, and we're going to cut this one into a 10-inch square because I only want a little tiny bit of that gold to show. So I'm going to take my clips off again, and I'm going to cut this into 10 inches. To do that, I have to cut 2 inches off of each side, and I have to do that on the left hand side of my trimmer because the right hand side only goes out to 1 3/4. So we're going to cut that, and we're going to trim this again. We turn it once and cut it again at 2 inches. And there is our base sheet. Okay, so I'm going to grab my adhesive and go ahead and get this put together. Okay, so first of all, let's go ahead and I'm going to start from the top down. We're going to get this adhered. I just put about a 1/2 inch of adhesive in roughly 5 places down each side. Okay, then that makes me happy, and I feel like that's enough because this adhesive is strong. It's not going to let your paper fly around. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to adjust this just a tiny bit because it's slightly off. And I want that center to be as even as possible, right? So I'm just going to make sure that is all nice and even. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my adhesive around the outside of the gold, and we'll add that to my clovers. And again, we're just centering it. So I am eyeballing it. If you're not confident that you can eyeball it, then use your mat, use your zero centering ruler, use whatever makes it easier for you to center things. There is no shame in using the tools we have, right? Okay. So there is my base for my opening page. Now we're going to start our rainbow. All right, so we're going to move this base sheet. I'm just going to set this over here to the side for a minute. And we're going to concentrate on our, well, first of all, just so that I can not have quite so many little parts hanging around here, I'm going to go ahead and finish the title here so that it's all in one piece. So I did, I cut the letters for Ireland, and then I decided I wanted to mat them, and there are some special features on my Cricut that allow me to cut one mat that is slightly wider than the letters, and then another mat that's even again slightly wider than that. So that's how I was able to do 2 layers of this mat. And I really feel like you don't always need a double mat when you are doing a title. In fact, often when I do a title, I don't mat them at all. But for a title page, I just feel like it's just a really cool element to add emphasis, right? And this one turned out so nice, I just have to tell you. Because I went ahead and I put these together for what I suspect will be volumes 2 and even possibly 3. I'm hoping that I can hold it to 2, but just in case, I went ahead and cut I cut 3 of these last night so that I could make sure that I have plenty of them. And I'm noticing that I need another light because there were shadows for some reason. Okay, that's better. Anyway, so I cut 3 of these and put the other 2 together last night. Mostly because, you know, when you're doing an art project, you like to see what it's going to look like when it's done, right? So I got a little bit of a preview, so to speak. And I got so excited because it turned out so nice. I think it turned out really nice. Anyway, I don't often think of accenting green with blue or turquoisey colors, but that's what this is. And it works because these are the same colors that are in that paper that we just used to create the base. So it should accent all of that really nicely and pick up all of those colors, which is what we want. Okay. All right, hang on a second. I've got a little bit of white. This is the thing about when you use papers that are not CM, and they don't. So this paper, this glitter paper, has a white core, and because it has a white core, Occasionally it leaves a little bit of the inside layer of the paper that we can see on the outside. CM's cardstock has a solid core, so you never see that. And sometimes you want to see it, like if you're tearing the paper and you're looking for that effect, it's nice, but most of the time we don't want to see that. So, all right, here is our Ireland Volume 1. Super exciting. All right, and now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and cut the layers of our rainbow. Now, knowing that I am going to have another album, because with the number of photos that we are using in this album, I just know there's going to be another album. So because of that, I am creating these title pages in this fashion, so that I can make another one exactly like it, which may not be what you want to do when you do yours, but I want to be able to do another title page that looks just like this one. So because of that, I am going to make full circles and then cut them apart to make our rainbow. Okay, so I'm using my circle cutter. I have the line for where my pivot foot is going to sit is as large as possible. Okay, I want this circle to take up the entire 12 by 12 page, or as much of it as possible. So if you've never used our CM circle cutter, I'll give you a quick tutorial in just a second when we do the second color. But it is as easy as that, which is pretty darn quick if you ask me. This is an 11 3/4 inch circle. As you can see here, it's just slightly larger than that, probably closer to 11 7/8. But that'll be our first one. I'm using the white numbers on the side here, which represent inches, and there's a little picture there of the blade that's inside this housing. I'm going to unlock this white circle right here. That unlocks my line, my black line in the bubble on the side, which marks where my blade, or where my pivot point is going to be. I'm going to move it in 2 marks. So the largest it will go is 11.4. I'm going to move it up to 11.2, and I'm going to move it in 2 marks each time I take a new color and we cut a new circle. Okay? And for right now, I'm just going to cut each circle, and then I'm going to set them aside and out of the way so that I don't accidentally cut into one of them. So I'm lining my paper up on my mat at the 10-inch mark because it's easy for me to count that way. And then I'm going up to 6 inches, which is the 1/2 inch mark on my paper. I have a little mark that I made on my circle cutter right here on the side, which lines up, corresponds to where my blade sits in the housing, so that I know how far over I can move my circle cutter and still have it complete the circle. All right, and then I'm laying my circle cutter on the 6-inch line right here. Now, as my circles get smaller, I won't really need to keep it at that 6-inch line to start, but it is imperative for the larger circles that I stay as evenly spaced on that 6-inch mark as possible, so that I don't have an issue completing these larger circles. So there's my orange circle. Whoa, papers are slipping around. It's anarchy. Okay, now we're gonna go with gold. I was so excited when they came out with the gold shimmer paper. I've been asking for gold shimmer paper for a very long time. I know I'm not alone. But I was so excited because I knew this trip was coming at some point. I think I remember mentioning to you that we started planning this trip in 2020. And I knew that there were going to be rainbows involved, because how can you go to Ireland and not experience rain and rainbows? And let me tell you, we saw many while we were there. And you can't make a rainbow without something to represent yellow or gold. So for that reason, I was very excited when they came out with this. And I know that it was not all because I had requested it. I'm sure there were many of us who requested it, but it seemed like it did take a while for us to get that. But anyway, we are grateful that we have it. And I'm grateful that CM decided to put it into their permanent line, because when it first came out, it was not a part of the permanent line. So just goes to show, if we really want something and need something, and there are enough of us that want and need it, we can get it. So I'm just, each time I change to a new color, I am moving my dial in another 2 marks. So it's making a slightly smaller circle each time. And I have 7 different colors, so we're going to have 7 different circles, which might seem overkill, but you know, I'm a Roy G. Biv person. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So that's 7. And so you need 7 layers to your rainbow. So pushing down on this center pivot, squeezing the white button in, and pushing down on this blue button on the outside. That's how this works. You can also draw circles with this. It's a really fun tool to have if you don't have one. I recommend it. I don't always use it for every circle that I make. I like the custom cutting system for smaller circles, but if you are doing something like this project where you need circles that are a specific size, this is going to be your friend. It really is very, very helpful. I have a good friend who loves to teach people about how to use their circle cutter. And in just a second, I'm going to share a quick tip for using your circle cutter, because we're going to need it now that we're down to our last color here. All right. So I'm going to find the center of this circle, and to do that, I'm going to take a piece of a sticky note. I'm going to place it roughly in the middle, just like that. Now I'm going to take my zero centering ruler. Okay, and I've got it centered on my mat so I can see exactly where the middle of this paper is. Okay. As I move it around and shift it. All right. Excuse me, sorry. So I'm going to find the center by lining up my zero centering ruler on the 6-inch mark. Finding my pencil, I'm going to draw a line, a vertical line across there. I'm going to find my 6-inch mark coming this direction, which is going to be right there. And do a line this direction. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to measure 1.25 inches. Why 1.25 inches, you ask? So I'm going to find the 1.25 inch mark on my zero centering ruler, which is right here. I'm going to line that up with my horizontal line I just drew on my sticky note. Okay, then I'm going to draw another line, another horizontal line. So this is 1.25 inches between these two. Hopefully you can see that. All right, this line right here is the key line. This is where the front of my, if I want to be able to line this back up and have it be in exactly the right place, this is the line that goes right to the center of my, or right on the front of my cutter, and that's how I'm going to line that back up in exactly the right place, should I need to. All right, so we've marked that. We need to, let me just make sure. So I'm at 9.4. I need to move this down one more to 9.2. And I say 0.2 because these are not marked like a standard ruler. There are 5 sections between 1 inch marker and the next inch marker. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the black line that's on my bubble out here in front. I'm going to line it up with this vertical line that's on my Post-it note. And I'm going to place the front of my circle cutter at the horizontal line that we drew that was 1.25 inches forward. Okay, that's going to cut this circle out of the very center of my paper. Okay, there's a reason I'm doing that, so just bear with me a second. So now we're going to go ahead and adhere all of our circles together to create our graduated sphere. Don't put your circle maker away yet. We're going to need that still. But for right now, I'm going to use my repositionable adhesive. I'm going to go around the edge of my circle. I'm using repositionable just in case I need to move something or reposition something. That way it's not as large of an issue, right? Okay, I'm just going to center this the best I can. Right in the middle of that dark blue. I'll put the name of all of these shimmer papers that I'm using for the rainbow in the description of the video, in case you're curious. Because some of these are not in our standard line of shimmer papers. but you can use whichever ones you have that you'd like to put together. Okay, so I'm just going to go through here and put them all, center them all on top of one another, and I will see you in a flash. All right, so now we have our rainbow almost ready. I'm going to turn this back around so that I can see my sticky note, which is going to bring us back to the center. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to move my dial in one more time. I'm going to move it in just slightly beyond the 9 so that it's like 8 point, I don't know, 4 or 5 almost, maybe slightly bigger than that. All right, and I'm going to come in here, I'm going to line this back up. So my black line on the bubble is on my vertical line, and the front of my circle trimmer is right at that 1 1/4 inch line that I drew. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole So is the one that came up with that trick. She is an amazing advisor. She's a good friend of mine and very talented lady. Okay, so I'm going to just cut that all the way around. Now, there is the danger that the purple, that my adhesive for the purple was not as far to the edge as I need it to be. So I'm going to be careful when I lift this up. And I may need to re-adhere. Okay, and I haven't quite cut through all the way through, which is also another danger. Okay, so without adjusting this, I'm just going to put it right back on here. This is the beauty of this system. If you have to remove your trimmer, you can put it right back in the same exact place. Let's see if we are closer. Well, we're down to the yellow. That's taking a bit to get through all those layers of paper. So I'm just going to keep trying this until I get all the way through. See. Aha! All the way through. There's our beautiful rainbow. Now I can remove all of these and set those aside. I'm just going to check my purple ring and make sure that it's not lifting up too badly. I think it's going to be okay. All right. Now, I don't want the whole thing on my page, I don't think. Let's just play with this since we have it. No, I don't want the whole thing on here. I think I just want half. And if we do half, or even a quarter, we can play with it and see. All right, so my Ireland is going to go across the top like this, and I want the rainbow to go underneath it. So I think if we cut the rainbow in half, we'll be good. So I don't know if you're aware of this, but a trick with our 12-inch trimmer and any circle is if you take it and you rest it on the 2 pivot points for the shoulder down here at the bottom or at the top, you will cut your circle right in half. So this works with any size circle. And so we're going to cut our rings right in half. So now we have 2 rainbows. This rainbow will go right here. I'm going to add some adhesive to the back of this. I'm going to make it level with just above my frame at the bottom and just center it. So there's a little bit on either side. Like so. Then we're going to take our laser border, and this is going to go across the bottom just like that. So we're going to put some of our adhesive on there, repositionable adhesive, just in case. And I'm putting, so you'll notice the laser border actually has a straight border that the green shamrock looking flowers are sitting on. And so I'm using that to line my border up. So the bottom of it is sitting right on top of the gold portion of the frame, like that. And then we're going to go ahead and add our words. Which I purposefully cut on a little bit of a curve so that they would work better with my rainbow that I knew I was going to put on here. Okay. And then we've got volume 1, which I need to sneak on here. And then I'm trying to decide if I want to add the year and possibly the month. I think I'm just going to put, I could do volume 1 like this, or we could do volume 1 like this. I think I like it better side by side. And I think I might just tuck it underneath some of this, almost as though it's kind of growing out of the border at the bottom. Volume 1. And that will leave me a little bit of room. If I want to, I could add 2023 right here underneath, which I haven't decided yet. So I may add that. We'll see. But there is our title page for the first volume of our Ireland series. I love it. I love the way it turned out. Let me know what you think. I'm super excited, and I've got my rainbow ready for volume 2. So that should be easy to put together as well. And make them match, which will be cool, I think, to have them match. At any rate, thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that this has been fun for you. I know it's been fun for me. I've been thinking about this for a while, and this design kind of came to me in the middle of the night, and I wrote it down really quick, and I am just excited at the way it's come together. I'm excited to share these photos and layouts with you, and I look forward to the coming days and weeks and months, because you know this is going to take a little while. Thanks so much for joining me, and until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments. Have a great rest of your day.